ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. Today is letter C, and C is for consistency. Hey, Krista. Augustine is in the house. Today is for consistency. And I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back. I started this here thing, was it Monday? I think I did an intro call today. What are we talking about today? C is for Krista. Krista is consistent, okay? Krista is my business bestie turned business partner, co-founder, and the CEO of our company, Speak House. C is for Krista. Get you a Krista. You know what? Maybe I should make this whole live about Krista because she is consistent. Monday, I think I did an intro. Tuesday, I did A. Wednesday, no. I didn't start on Monday, did I? I started on August 1st. So Wednesday was intro. No. Oh, what the hell? Tuesday was intro. Wednesday was A. Thursday was B. Friday is C. Okay. You can be all my memories, not all that great. And given the fact that I'm going to be consistent on here, y'all are going to see some inconsistent stylings of my hair. It just depends. Okay. Today, this is just what y'all getting. Pitching like a boss is in the house. Where's Tay's in the house? Brother Sky is in the house. What's up, everybody? So as you all might know, I am doing to remain consistent. To remain consistent. I am doing the ABCs of communication, connection, speaking, to help me with my consistency. I have never been like super consistent on showing up on social media. I kid you not. And my returning to these internet streets, it is with the effort of improving my consistency and being consistent. So that's the reason why I came up with the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking, because it's 26 letters I'm going to have to do. And I said I'm going to do a letter every day. But I think I'm going to take off Saturdays, actually. I think I'm going to take off Saturdays. Anyways, Granny Diva is in the house. What's up? Queen Vivia is in the house. So yes, like I said, today's letter is C. And I decided to go with consistency. Some people, I got a couple of votes for clarity, but I got a good feeling that I'm going to be able to talk about clarity with another letter. I think clarity is going to come with another letter, okay? But consistency might not come with another letter. So it's all about how am I connecting whatever this one word is to communication, to connection, and to speaking. And I would say that there are two areas that are widely important in the space of improving your communication skills and also improving the messages. I don't know why I'm kind of like glitching out here. I don't know what's going on with my internet. But let me know if y'all can see me okay. Am I glitching out? Am I like in the matrix? I do silly things. Okay, so let me know if y'all see me okay in the chat. If I'm coming in clearly, if you hear me clearly. It's fine. Okay, so it's fine. Okay, so getting into the business. And so I'm going to talk about consistency and how it helps improve your communication. But then I'm going to talk about consistency and how it improves your message, and one message in particular. And I kid you not, y'all, I just kind of came up with this today. Like, how can I talk about this? One, consistency, as we know, being consistent with workouts, being consistent with eating healthy, being consistent with following up in relationships. Consistency is the key to success, okay? There are a lot of keys to success, but with some of the keys to success that you get, Some of those keys require consistency, right? So consistency is the major key, as DJ Khaled would say. But consistency in showing up and how you communicate. And more so, I would say just consistent in how you practice. And sometimes you don't even know what you're practicing. So where do I kind of even apply that consistency? And I would say that it is being consistent and aware about how you're communicating and connecting with people. I think that that's the first place to begin. You might say to yourself, there's an opportunity for me to be a more effective communicator. There's an opportunity for me to be a better speaker. There's an opportunity for me to be able to just connect better with people through the how I show up and communicate with folks. And now, what do I do to improve it? How might I improve it? What do I need to do? Well, I believe that it begins with just the space of self-awareness. Start becoming aware. Start listening to yourself when you're talking to people, when you've got an idea. Pay attention to when you are being proactive with how you show up. Pay attention to how you are resisting when you show up and communicate, right? But be consistent in that, right? So for the next week, consistently listen to yourself. For the next week, consistently observe. Meaning throughout the day, not just I listen to myself one day, one part of the day, and then I forget the next day. No, every time you show up, be an observer of how you're connecting, how you're communicating, how you're using your words. Are they intentional? Am I just going through the motions? Am I just showing up and doing the status quo? Am I just replying just to reply? Am I thoughtfully giving a response? Does this accurately represent what I'm thinking? Are these the best words to represent what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling? Like observing yourself in that way. Because if you say that there's an opportunity for me to be a better communicator, for me to be a better speaker, you got to kind of better understand, well, what aspects of that do I want to improve? I'm going to wave at some folks here, right? Everybody in the house, Lex is in the house, Rhonda's in the house, Matthew's in the house, Dumas is in the house. So in the space of consistency, to improve your communication, to become a better speaker, to connect better with people, you first have to be the observer. And I say you have to consistently observe yourself. And that consistency in observing yourself isn't just going to make you a better communicator. It's going to improve your emotional IQ. And being a great speaker and a great communicator requires a great level of emotional intelligence, right? And emotional intelligence, one of the pillars of that is self-awareness. It's another one called self-management, people management, stuff like that. It's like 4 or 5 of them in there, but I can't remember right now. But I know self-awareness is one of those. So in that space, observing yourself and consistently observing yourself, I think is probably a clear path that you can take. You don't even got to hire me to be your public speaking coach. You don't even have to hire Speak House to come into your team. Encourage people around you to be consistent in the space of how they observe themselves. How am I showing up? How am I not showing up? How am I limiting myself? How am I resisting? When do I get apprehensive? How often am I apprehensive? What are the triggers that cause me to be apprehensive? When do I bite my tongue? Just observing in that way and doing that consistently is going to grow you in so many different ways. And not, like I said, not only just in the space of communication, but in the space of self-awareness, which is going to grow your emotional intelligence. And people who connect well with people have a high EQ, period, right? So that's the first call to action that I'm going to offer you in the space of how does consistency. We're talking about the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. And someone suggested consistency. I'm like, man, what's the blanket? What's the broad stroke? What can I offer in the space of consistency? If I'm going to ask you to be consistent about anything, it's about being aware. Observe yourself, listen to yourself, pay attention to yourself, get a PhD in yourself. We be thinking we know ourselves, but we be on autopilot, y'all. If we really stop to think and listen and observe how we show up, how we communicate, are we an actual representation of what it is that we desire to be or become? Do we be showing up as that? Do we be showing up as that? Yes, right? And the only way that you can stay on top of Am I true to who I am? Am I true to how I say I want to show up? Am I true to, how I, set out to be the person? Whole bunch of stuff, right? The only way that you can kind of like check that is to consistently observe yourself. Sometimes we just be going and we just let ourselves be, but are we aware? Are we present, right? So I want you to consistently observe yourself. What up, Danielle? Oh, that's Elishi. That SLICI has joined. Sometimes I want to give a shout out, but I have no idea like how to pronounce some of these names, right? Gracefully Designed is in the house. I Am Robert is back. So that's the one part of consistency I want to throw out there. Now, for those of you who are self-aware, right, who do consistently observe, I do want to offer something even more specific. What up, Alton Dorian Clark? So the second part, this is going to get a little bit more into kind of communication strategy. For those of us who tell our story, for those of us who are showing up at work, we are showing up in these internet streets, we are getting on social media, we're getting on lives, we're posting things about ourselves. There's stories that we tell about ourselves. Now, this is going to be for another day, how we define those stories, how we create those stories, how we refine those stories. Chrissy said, not the full government name. Like, you know somebody when you call them about the full government name. So anyways, so we can get into that a little bit later about, how do we build these stories. But when you have a story about yourself that is true to you, he said, I am the feds right now. When you have a story that is true to you, you need to stick to it and you have to consistently tell that story. You have to get comfortable with the fact that that story is not going to get old. When you have a story that is true to you, true to who you are, true to your values, true to the lessons that you've learned or an example of the lessons that you've learned, you need to tell that story consistently. People need to know this story. People need to know the story so well that they almost end up telling the story for you. And I get this a lot, especially with leaders in their business, growing leaders within organizations, even entrepreneurs. Like, in order to build your brand and for people to know, like, and then trust you, what is it that they know? You start telling them a story. Do they like you? And that like is from being congruent. And when I say being congruent as to how you're showing up, but then also congruent as to the stories that you tell about yourself. Are you consistent? Are those traits, the values, like, are you embodying these things? And the stories that you tell, that's the proof of how you show up and how you embody your values. But you got to be consistent. You got to tell these stories consistently. For example, there's a story. It's not really a story, but it's something that I tell about myself all the time. And I might have mentioned this in another live, talking about authenticity. When I realized that Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, when I realized that is my favorite movie, I talk about that all the time. I quote it all the time. What quote do I have? He's good. He's real good. That's a real short quote from Coming to America. Let them wait. Right? Okay. So there are certain things that I absolutely love from Coming to America. And I consistently talk about that. I will drop it in any conversation. I will just bring it up. It is a go-to story that I tell. I have people ask me, how did you get in communication? How did you get into become a public speaking or whatever? There is a go-to story that I tell when I was in 5th grade and I was trained on conflict management in 5th grade. That's a story that I tell consistently. If you listen to me on podcasts, I will probably tell that story. If you listen to me here, I'm probably going to tell that story. So what is that? Velvet? Right. Good, Matthew. Everybody drop your favorite Coming to America quotes in here. Okay. Dorian says, very true. It's like a hit record. Yes, Beyonce will sing Crazy in Love for the rest of her career. Period. Right? I also liken it to, we've got uncles. I always say there is an uncle in our life that will tell you the same story over and over and over years. And it's not like they're telling they're telling the story every month, but they consistently tell the story when it's appropriate. They consistently tell the story when it's relevant. They consistently tell the story when there's a lesson for you to learn from it. You know, there's this thing called the power of three in the space of communicating. Tell them what you said. Tell them what you're going to say. Tell them, and then tell them what you said. You got to tell people time and time and time again. Y'all, we think we adults because we got to pay bills, but we kids. Because I got to tell some of these adults time over and over. I got to tell you one more time. Yes, I have to tell you one more time. And then a second time and a third time for you to even remember. And then if I want you to be able to recall and then regurgitate, you're going to have to hear it. If this is a good one, Queen Vivia. If you're really a prince, I'll marry you. Ha! Go on, honey. Take a chance. Good. These are good ones. Oh, yeah. Yes. It is my birthday, right? Happy belated birthday, Queen Vivia. Happy birthday. I got a birthday song for you. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. That's it. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. Okay? Dumas, thank you for censoring that, but it was a penis, okay? Anyways, y'all are getting this one. I think the favorite one is, go on, honey. Take a chance. I renounce, what does he say? I renounce my throne of the Zamunda. I am no longer, right? I renounce the throne. Another one, and then I'm gonna get back to the point, y'all. Another one from Coming to America that I love is when he's in the barbershop and he says, you know what? I'm walking down the street, minding my own business. And then next thing you know it, I get hit in the chest, fall on the ground. I look up, it's Dr. King. I said, Dr. King, why you hit me in my chest? He said, oops, I thought you was somebody else. Then they said, man, you ain't never met no Dr. Martin Luther King. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Who's next? Y'all remember that part? Okay. I love Coming to America. The point is, you tell a story consistently and people will remember. Behold, semi-life, real life, a thing that we have been denied for far too long. Queen Vivia, you in Houston, we're going to have a watch party for Coming to America. But now that I've told a story about my love for Coming to America, and I consistently tell that, there are people that are going to connect with me because of it. And they're going to remember aspects of who I am because of it. So when there is a story that you tell that's true to who you are, tell it consistently. Don't ever feel like it's going to get old. There's Alton on this call. There's Krista on this call. They know how much I love Coming to America. And they heard that before. But I ain't going to not tell y'all because they already heard it. I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to be consistent with it. So yeah, those are the ABCs. Oh, you're in LA. We'll do a virtual watch party. Okay. This is the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. And this is definitely me doing the ABCs of communication and connecting and speaking is my attempt to remain consistent. And sometimes we have to put things in place in order to help us remain consistent. If I say that I'm going to do a word for every letter in the alphabet that has something to do with communication, connection, and speaking, then I need to do it. And I'm setting myself up to be consistent because I got to get to 26 letters. And today was just C. And C is consistency. And that is something that I've identified within myself, that I want to be more consistent showing up here in these internet streets, right? I want to show up more. I just be talking. I need to be talking. That's just it. And through my experience, through the work that I do, through the people that I serve, I learn things God blesses me so I can bless others. So I'm going to share. Okay? So tomorrow is the letter D. D. So slide in my DMs and let me know what I should talk about for D. Should it be discipline? Should it be dialogue? Should it be dialect? I ain't got much to say about dialect, y'all. Oh, no. I do. I got stuff to say about dialect. Okay. I got stuff to say about dialect. Is it dealing with Debbie the Downers? Okay. Anyways, you guys get what I'm going with this. So slide in my DMs, share with me what word I should talk about for the letter D tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. Sunday. Okay. I'm coming back on Sunday. I think that's all I got. Determination. That's a good one. Look, I'm ready to riff on it right now. Determination. That's a good one. Okay. I'm a bookmark that one. Let me write it down. You know what? I need to just go ahead and create a Google Doc so that I can start documenting, because one of these days I'm going to forget what letter I'm on. One of these days I'm going to forget. Rokita. Or is it Roquita? But, Miss Johnson is in the house. Andre Zachary. Drive. Good. Ooh. Drive. Determination. These are good ones. So this is D. Tomorrow is D. The ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. And I'll just say one real quick thing about connection, right? Like, I feel like communication, let me just make it plain real quick. I don't cuss all the time, but sometimes. Communication ain't shit. Public speaking ain't shit unless you're actually making a connection. Communication is the vehicle to connect. Public speaking is the medium to connect. I could be the best communicator. I could be the best public speaker. But if you ain't feeling me, if we ain't making a connection, if I'm not connecting no ideas, if I ain't connecting no energy, if I ain't connecting you to yourself, or you to me and me to you, or we to we, if I ain't making no connections, then I'm not communicating. Well, maybe I am, but it's not effective. It don't even matter. You could be great. You could be polished. You could be determined. You could say it all the right way, and ain't nobody feeling you. So, Rokita. Effective communication is key. But the measurement for effective communication is, are we connecting? That's what I'm saying. What's the thing that says that it's effective? Oh, because I got through all the talking points. Oh, because I was smooth in my transitions. Oh, because I didn't say Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Until you're like really truly connecting with people, is your communication effective, right? Thanks, Robert. So that's the reason why I say the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. For me, it is all about connecting with people, resonating with people, making it relevant, not just communicating for communicating's sake, not just speaking for speaking's sake. I ain't no orator. I don't even know if that's a word. I don't be doing oratory. I guess I do orate. I'm messing up all these words. Rokita, let me know. You're in public speaking, like oratory. Anyways, oratory is a style of communication. It's a style of public speaking. But I don't be orating. I be trying to connect with folks. So Claire's in the house. Alana's in the house. Maurice is in the house. Did I get everybody? Okay, I'm closing this thing down, right? I am remaining consistent. So here is a summary. Consistency. Be consistent in observing yourself. Become self-aware. In order to connect with people, you have to be full and whole. In order to understand people requires a certain level of emotional intelligence. And the way that you grow your emotional intelligence is to become self-aware, right? Observe yourself consistently. You know, if you're wanting to be better at the way that you connect and you communicate and speak with people, then start with yourself. Just observe yourself consistently. And then the second part, for those who are ready to take it to the next level, in the space of storytelling, if you got a story that you tell that is true to who you are, tell that story consistently. Do not be afraid to sound redundant. Be a broken record on yourself. Be a broken record on yourself. Danielle says, you're so good at it. I've seen you speak in many rooms amongst different crowds, and you always build connection. Thank you, Danielle. That's why I like to throw parties. I get my practice from connecting with people, throwing parties. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. That might be letter P, parties. What up, Kevin? Good to see you last night. I saw Kevin at an event. Kevin is the man, y'all. You're looking for some photography, event photography. Okay, he got passes. He got passes with the city of Houston. I'm just putting your business out there, Kevin, but he got access, y'all. So holla at Kevin for your photography needs. So that concludes today. The ABCs of connection, communication, and speaking. I will be back on Sunday, and I will dive into the letter D. I have some suggestions for drive and determination. If you have any other D words in relation to communication, connection, or speaking, slide in my DMs, put it in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear about next. And then I'm going to be moving through every single letter, and I'm only taking like one day off. But I'm going to make it to the very end of the month. 26 letters. A was authenticity. B was bossy. Today, dynamic. What does it mean to be dynamic? What does it mean to be a dynamic communicator? Good suggestion. So that's all I got, y'all. I'm about to get up on out of here. Go tell your friends, hey, Vegan Plate, what up? Go tell your friends to tune in. If they're looking to improve their communication skills, they want to be a better connector, they want to, improve the way that they speak publicly, then tell them to holler at me. Come join these lines, you know what I mean? And we will continue to ride this thing out together. I thank you all for holding me accountable, for showing up, and for listening, for sharing, for providing, for just connecting. I'm up out of here. Peace out.